is here. What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger. Ladies and gentlemen, a 1.2 gigabyte update is set to drop for Marvel Rivals on Thursday, and so as a result of that, we've got a lot to discuss. We've got two brand new skins, as well as a preview look at an upcoming exciting skin, which I'm looking forward to for sure. Especially if you're a Venom fan, you should be extremely excited. We have some rumors about the characters that we're going to be seeing in season 4 of Marvel Rivals, which, by the way, is really not that far away at this point, so get excited about that. And then beyond that, there's obviously a bunch of other fixes and things that we need to discuss for the update itself. Now, of course, before we get into the nitty-gritty details themselves, don't forget, guys, scroll on down, smash that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so very much for your kindness and your continued support. And without further ado, like always, let's dive on in. Yeah, that looks pretty dang cool. So let's kick things off with the Polarity Bond, aka the Abyssal Flame version of Cloak and Dagger. This is going to be one of two brand new skins that will be arriving in the Marvel Rivals store on Thursday evening when the shop updates. So this is something that all of you Cloak and Dagger players will be hopefully looking forward to add to your collections. Interestingly enough, this is possibly the only time, at least in my recollection, that we're getting two legendary skins in a row for a character. So the last version of Cloak and Dagger that we had access to was the dance partner version. Of course, that one was a battle pass skin, but still, that was the last one. And now we are going to go on ahead and get this variant, which will also be a legendary skin. So that, of course, does mean that you're going to need to spend around 2,200 units in order to add this one to your collections. It is a really cool looking skin, though. It does seem like they're going all out for this one because, of course, you're going to have your really cool MVP animation. You've got the costume, the emote, the nameplate, which will be animated since this is, of course, a legendary skin, as well as the spray. So those are all things that you get to look forward to. But interestingly enough, to celebrate the release of this skin, they actually also confirmed that with this update that they are going to release two bundles, one emoji bundle and one dynamic mood bundle for this particular skin to celebrate its release. So I guess if you're really going to go all out, it's going to cost you 2,200 to get the skin, and then you're going to also need to spend around 600 units each in order to get the emoji bundle and the dynamic mood bundle. So probably going to add up here, but if you're a Cloak and Dagger main, I guess you're probably going to be quite stoked to have such a huge versatile amount of stuff dropping all together. The other thing that's interesting about this is that I don't know if you guys would agree with me or not, but I honestly did not realize that Cloak and Dagger had so few skins, because I don't know why I felt like they got a bunch of different skins, but this is actually only going to be their 6th skin overall. So far they had their default design, then of course they got the lemon lime recolor, which is not that great. Then they got the really cool growth and decay skin, then they got the really cool Twilight Duo skin, and they got, most recently, the really incredible dance partner skin, now rounding out that list with the Abyssal Flame skin. Which makes me kind of think, does Cloak and Dagger have the best collection of skin overall? Because they really don't have any terrible ones available in their entire library. And get ready to say again, because, ladies and gentlemen, the Winter Soldier will also be receiving a brand new skin with this latest update. So all of you Winter Soldiers players, you're going to be pretty dang stoked to know that we are going to be receiving a legendary skin for the Winter Soldier. So this is a very unique week because we're getting two legendary skins dropping together. So this is known as the Polarity Soldier, or of course it is also known as the sub-theme of Abyssal Flame skins, and it's a pretty definitely substantial redesign of the classic Bucky look. I don't know if I love it or don't yet. I kind of am like kind of in between, because I kind of like some elements of the design, but then other parts just kind of like I look at them like this has nothing to do with Bucky anymore. Like, it looks nothing like Bucky, so I'm not like a huge fan of it, but I'm curious to hear how the community actually receives this one. It is a pretty cool design. Of course, like I mentioned, it is legendary, which means it will run you 2200 units as well. This one will not be getting any sort of emoji bundles or mood emoji bundles, so none of that will be available for the Winter Soldier. That is only going to be releasing for the previously mentioned Cloak and Dagger skin. This does bring up Winter Soldier's overall skin count to 7. Of course, he started out with his original default look. Then we had the recolor into the Navy Trooper. Then we had the really cool Revolution skin, which is probably my personal favorite skin for Bucky. Then we have Blood Soldier. Then we got the Winter's Wrath design. And most recently, of course, they celebrated the release of the MCU Thunderbolts movie with the Thunderbolts design. And now you're going to finally have a legendary skin that you can add into your collection. Question is, most importantly to Winter Soldier players, is this the legendary skin that you were hoping for? Let me know in the comments section below. Doesn't end there when it comes to the brand new Marvel Rivals skins, because of course, as part of the reveal of both Cloak and Dagger and the Winter Soldier Polarity skins, they went ahead and teased the up and coming Abyssal Flame version of Venom. And this looks absolutely bonkers. As a huge fan of Venom, I am terrible at playing Venom in the game, but I continue to get a lot of his skins just because I'm a huge fan of the character. I think that this one looks wonderful. It looks very chaotic, very hectic, and certainly quite a bit different to the rest of the skins that are available to Venom. So that is definitely quite exciting. I am extremely excited to find out when this skin drops, whether that be sometime in the next week or two, or if it ends up being some sort of an event acquirable skin. I'm looking forward to learning more about that one. And that is still not all. This is a 1.2 gigabyte update, which means that there's more to discuss. First and foremost, they continue to fix the map. So if you're a person who continues to run into situations where your character gets stuck or clips into strange objects or parts of the breakable map, this update, once again, will go ahead and introduce some of those fixes. So I guess that's something that they will just continuously fix until maybe they figure out a way to just not have destructible parts of the map to begin with. I guess we'll see, but it is just funny that this is something that just continues to happen every single update that they release. There's also a slew of other smaller changes that will be implemented. It seems like there were really a lot of problems in terms of keybinds and those sorts of things. So if you've been struggling with keybinds, particularly for PC players, I would imagine this is going to be something that you're excited to hear that it is all getting patched. If you're someone that plays the game on the Xbox Series S most specifically, you might have run into an issue where dynamic sprays appeared blurry. It will be fixed with this update. There's also a few hero specific changes that will be getting implemented. So apparently there was a bug where essentially as Hulk, when you would use your incredible leap attack, you would be able to actually cancel out the bubble shield for Magneto or Hulk's bubble shield. So that will no longer be a problem. So if you're someone that was being kind of terrorized by the Hulk, it will be getting fixed with this update. And then Hela players, you'll be happy to know that Hela will be receiving 2 bug fixes with this update as well. First and foremost, there was a visual bug with her tendril ability when she's teaming up with Venom. So I guess it was just causing like a bunch of chaos to happen on your screen. So that is something that will be getting fixed. And then another fix that will be getting implemented is that the brand new Queen in Black ultimate, when you would use the ultimate while wearing that particular new skin for Hela, you would actually get the wrong color for the cape to spawn in. So that will be also getting patched as well. Ooh, so that was all the new stuff and the fixes that we can expect with Thursday's update. But it doesn't stop there, because obviously it is a 1.2 gigabyte update, so we can first and foremost expect a bunch of leaks and new things to come out of this update once it becomes available. All the data miners will be able to dive in and find out a bunch of new information, because there's no way that the little bit of content that we discussed so far covers a 1.2 gigabyte update. So I'm expecting some other things to leak once this update does go live. Now, the other thing that has gained a lot of momentum and a lot of buzz this particular last week or so is this data entry or story entry titled Nowhere to Run, where it seems to really tease the idea that with season number 4, we can go ahead and expect Angela and Daredevil to possibly be added to the roster, which got the community swirling, not really because people don't like the possibility of Daredevil and Angela being implemented, but more so just because a lot of people are really kind of freaking out saying, oh my goodness, does this mean we're going to be getting 2 more DPSs added into the game? We really need to see more support and, more importantly, more tanks being added into the game in order to make the, I guess, roster pool feel more diverse and just have a little bit more depth to the overall options that you have in the tank and the support class, because right now it feels a little bit shallow, especially when compared to the DPS role, which is valid, by the way. I 100% agree with those particular criticisms, and it seems like a lot of the folks over at Marvel Rivals have heard those criticisms because they've said that they will be actively trying to add more tanks and support characters. The only problem that they did say is that the characters that they're deciding to add into the game right now are characters that we ourselves as the players won't see for at least another year, which means that a lot of the characters that they've been working on are already so far along that they can't really change their plans. Now, I will also say that, at least on paper, everything that we've seen leaked so far for Angela seems to indicate that she will most likely be a tank character. So that is definitely good news in that sense, in the sense that we are most likely going to end up with a tank in Angela being a new character. So that is definitely a W. And then, of course, there's a lot of concern in terms of Daredevil. What will Daredevil offer to the game? Because most likely, like, when you really think of the character, you really think that he's most likely going to end up being a DPS, maybe even some sort of like a dive type character where he's able to flank the back line and do damage that way. I do think, though, that there is a slight chance, which might be disappointing to Daredevil fans, that Daredevil does actually end up being a support character instead. Maybe granting some sort of like extra visual elements or increase like abilities to see through walls or something like that just via sound, so that you can kind of like see the silhouette of your enemies or something like that to your teammates. I could definitely see him being a very interesting support character as well. But let me know what you guys think. Would you be bummed out if season number 4 arrives and we do find out that Angela and Daredevil are the 2 characters that will be getting added to the roster? Would you be more upset if Daredevil was yet another DPS character, adding to the already inflated number of DPS characters? Or would it be more upsetting to find out that he was a support character, just because it's not really, I guess, like congruent to his actual personality or characteristics? So let me know down in the comments section below. Of course, beyond all that, guys, while you're leaving your comment, don't forget to leave a like. Thank you guys so very much for your kindness and your continued support. We are marching mightily close now towards season number 4, which feels kind of insane to even say it. But yeah, we're really just a handful of weeks away from season 4 arriving already, and it just feels like season 3.5 just got started. But before you know it, we're going to know some more exciting details about season number 4 and everything else that they have planned beyond. I hope you guys are enjoying Marvel Rivals. I will hopefully see you guys here for the Marvel Rivals live stream. Y'all have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Man, one thing I definitely feel like we can all agree on, though, is that competitive ranked mode in Marvel Rivals needs to be worked on, because it is a nightmare to deal with right now.